Northern France, September 26, 1918. The Meuse-Argonne offensive erupts, the largest American operation of World War I. Lieutenant Colonel George S. Patton Jr. leads the U.S. Tank Corps into its first major battle. Artillery shakes the earth, chaos reigns, and Patton's tanks lurch forward through mud and smoke. Outwardly fearless, Patton is gripped by a private terror, not of death, but of failing his family's legacy. He moves on foot, shouting orders, forcing himself to stay exposed for his men. The Meuse-Argonne is more than a battlefield. It's where Patton's soul is tested and his legend begins. Near Cheppy, Patton's tanks are pinned down by German fire. Trapped in a shell hole, fear grips him, until he imagines his ancestors watching. Their silent question, "Will you shame our name?" Patton stands, rallies his men, and charges into fire. Wounded, he refuses evacuation, commanding from the ground. In the mud of France, Patton's courage is forged, a legend is born. Patton's recovery gives him time to reflect. He realizes courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. Every soldier feels fear, denying it is pointless. Patton teaches fear is natural, but discipline and will can overcome it. In his diary, he channels fear into action, demanding courage from his men because he demands it from himself. Patton's legacy. Courage is a choice, and greatness comes from mastering fear. World War II erupts, and Patton is ready. Now a general, his leadership is shaped by his battle with fear. He leads from the front, aggressive, demanding, always visible. His persona, old blood and guts, is carefully crafted to inspire and intimidate. Polished helmets, ivory pistols, fiery speeches, all tools to project confidence and suppress fear. He wants his men to fear letting him down more than the enemy. Patton drives his armies relentlessly across North Africa, Sicily, and France. The famous dash across France after Normandy is his philosophy in action. Constant movement, constant attack. He believes inaction breeds fear. Action is the antidote. His methods are brutal, his demands high, but the results are undeniable. Victories pile up, but so do casualties. He pushes his men to exhaustion, believing it's the only way to win and save lives in the end. Patton's command is a reflection of his own struggle. He expects his men to endure what he has. The fire that forged him now forges his army. He applies the lessons of Meuse-Argonne on a grand scale. For Patton, leadership is about mastering fear, his own and his soldiers. The battlefield is his crucible, and he demands nothing less from his men. In war, Patton's philosophy becomes legend. Patton's obsession with conquering fear has a dark side. In Sicily, 1943, he encounters soldiers suffering from what we now call PTSD. Seeing no visible wounds, Patton is enraged. He sees only cowardice. He slaps 2 soldiers, berates them, and orders them back to the front. To Patton, fear is a moral failing, a contagion that threatens his army. His own triumph over fear blinds him to the reality of psychological wounds. He cannot accept that not all men have the same breaking point. The incidents spark outrage. Eisenhower reprimands him, and Patton is forced to apologize. For a time, his career hangs in the balance. The slapping incidents reveal the limits of his philosophy. Patton's strength, his willpower, becomes his greatest flaw. He fails to see that courage and suffering take many forms. His intolerance is rooted in his own lifelong battle. The events are a sobering reminder. Leadership demands empathy as well as strength. Patton's flaw is exposed. Not all wounds are visible. The cost of his philosophy is paid by those who cannot conquer fear as he did. Even legends have blind spots. Patton's struggle with fear is entwined with his belief in reincarnation. He's convinced he's lived countless warrior lives: Roman legionary, medieval knight, Napoleonic soldier. Visiting old battlefields, he claims to remember fighting there. This belief gives him a sense of destiny, an immense pressure. To fail now would betray not just his family, but all his past selves. He fears not death, but a coward's death, a stain on his eternal identity. Death is a transition. What matters is dying bravely. In his poem, Through a Glass Darkly, he longs for a clean death in battle. On the battlefield, he's not just Patton. He's the embodiment of a timeless warrior spirit. His actions are fueled by a desire to be worthy of this epic narrative. His fear is not just personal shame, but eternal disgrace. The spiritual dimension intensifies every decision. For Patton, every battle is fought on two fronts, the present and the eternal. The war ends, but Patton's greatest irony is yet to come. In December 1945, a car accident leaves him paralyzed from the neck down. The man of action is rendered helpless, trapped in a body that won't obey. For 12 days, he faces his final battle, not with guns, but with silence and immobility. He remains stoic, knowing recovery is impossible. The warrior who feared incapacity more than death now lives his nightmare. He cannot fight, cannot lead, only wait. On December 21st, 1945, Patton dies quietly, far from the battlefield. He's buried with his men, denied the heroic death he craved. Fate delivers a mundane end to a life of relentless action. The master of fear is undone by random chance. His story closes not with a bang, but with a whisper. The final battle is lost, not to an enemy, but to fate itself. Patton's legend is sealed in silence. The relentless warrior meets an unrelenting end. Patton's story is more than military history. It's a study of fear. His life proves that fear is a lifelong companion, not an enemy to be vanquished once and for all. Patton never stopped being afraid. He simply chose to act anyway. His struggle became his strength, his vulnerability a source of power, but his victory over fear made him intolerant of others' struggles. The slapping incidents warn us empathy is as vital as courage. Patton fought 2 wars, against the Axis and against his own terror of inadequacy. He won the first, the second was never-ending. His belief in reincarnation, his aggressive persona, all weapons in his private conflict. In the end, Patton's legacy is the triumph of will over fear. He teaches us that true courage is living and leading alongside our anxieties. Fate cannot be commanded, but our response to fear can. The ultimate victory is not fearlessness, but the courage to act despite fear.